Okay, we're at the ESL Challenger Katowice the day before the group stage. Falcons are about to play their LAN debut with s1mple's, so of course, we had to ask some questions about that. Yeah, first of all, obviously, you've made it no secret for the past couple of months that if results keep going this way, there are going to be changes, and obviously we've seen that happen now. Can you tell me about the conversations behind the scenes, how they were happening throughout the past couple of months, and about the end of 2024 and leading into 2025?
I've always liked this approach of trying to be transparent with the players. Obviously, and I think they also know that throughout the season it has became more and more clear that changes were needed, especially when it comes around the firepower department. In ends, Snappy and Madden were used to having a guy like Nerds, and obviously me and Magisk and also Dupree were used to having Spinks and Saivu. So I think it has been clear that we have been needing this firepower, this star player who, a guy like Magisk will shine under. It's been very rough on the team, obviously this year. But we're never giving up, and it's good to have Sasha coming back first and foremost for the entire scene, but also for our team. It's needed.
Mm-hmm. You were just talking about the riflers and maybe the firepower lacking there. Obviously, this change is not necessarily the rifle that you're changing. I think many were surprised that it was s1mple's taking a seat on the bench instead, who was, statistically at least, he was your best performer. Can you explain what made you think that an opping change was needed?
I think we tried multiple scenarios. It's also when all the players are kind of roster locked in terms of going to the RMR and the major being so close, it's difficult getting maybe the exact match that we wanted. Sasha was available. I think we have tried pretty much everything that we could, at least from my side of things.
Without making lineup changes.
Yes, without making changes, and for me it has been so horrible for all of us, I think, for this season, and might as well go all in and make a home run and see if we can get Sasha back and to somewhat his former level, and also a gamble, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. So is that kind of the idea? Just hope that he comes back to a level where he, obviously we know him to be the GOAT of CSGO, and we know what he can do at his peak. Is that kind of the hope that he will be able to reach that peak?
I think it's putting too much pressure on him to expect that he will just come back and start where he finished pretty much. But I from what I've seen so far, he's only improving, and it goes really fast. And for me, it's just, you have these type of players. You also saw it with Device being away for a year. Obviously, he was playing some faces in the background, and also with my time with Saivu, that those players they just have that raw talent where it will kind of always be there. It's just whenever one day they might lose the motivation, but if they are hungry and they want to prove themselves, then I have a hard time seeing that they don't find back to what we will see ourselves, our models, like a very, very strong level. As I said before, I don't expect him to come back to the Sasha that we know. I think he needs a little bit more time. But he's definitely qualified to play for Falcons.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about the hunger, and I think that was something that a lot of people are questioning about s1mple. In the past year, obviously, he made it no secret that CS2 wasn't to his liking, and he was a big critic of the game. And it obviously took a lot of time for him to maybe not necessarily decide to come back, but also have the opportunity to come back. His motivation was under question for a long time. Was that a worry for you as well, when you were trying to approach this discussion?
Not really. We have had some talks with him throughout the season. We also played with him back in March. I think he's very eager to come back. Unfortunately, I think personal issues were. This guy has probably not had the easiest, last couple of years with the situation going on in his home country, and also, I've always had this talk with him that he kind of got robbed, of having this era or trying to challenge our time back in Astralis because they were doing so well in 21, and then the war broke out, and I think he has had some time to maybe get a well-needed break, and I think he's ready to come back. I think when you get so much time out the sidelines, I tried it as well back when I retired as a player, and you see that the scene is just moving on without you, and I think now he has had some time to rest, fix some stuff for him and his family, and now he's ready to come back and compete.
Mm-hmm. So what's the plan here? I mean, he's obviously only been announced as a loan until the end of the year, which means, basically until the Shanghai Major or until the end of it. Could you see a future where he stays on the team permanently after that?
I'm not going to go too much into details with this. We are here right now. My only focus is the RMR. I think for me personally, but also for the team, it's very important that we qualify. I think that's the only thing that can somewhat save our season. So I haven't thought too much about next year. So I would rather not comment on that. But just want to say that obviously a guy like this is always someone that you would consider.
Mm-hmm. You've had a couple of official nows online at least. You've been practicing for a while. How's it been going with s1mple? How is he? What have you seen in him so far?
I've seen a guy who is progressing on a daily basis. I know that the results didn't really showcase that, but we have chosen to play these tournaments based on him getting some official practice as well. Would have loved a better start, I think. But to be fair to him, it was definitely not his fault that we lost those 2 games. I think he did phenomenally, thinking about for what long time he has been away for. So it's just good to see that in practice that he adapts to the way that the game is being played. He was out for quite some time. It's also a new game on top of that, but you can see that he has definitely not been away from the game that he has been following and also grinding a lot lately.
Mm-hmm. There's no worries that he's kind of behind on the meta in terms of Team CS2 at least, or has it been okay?
For a guy who has been away for so long, you can definitely see that he's still watching a lot of games, and maybe there was a down period when it comes to him playing Face It, but I think the last month and a half, if people go in and check, he has been playing pretty much 24/7. So actually surprised how far ahead he is in that regards. Of course, there are some suggestions from him in terms of they did this utility back in Navi or whatever, and we kind of know that nowadays that doesn't work because we also did that in Vitality, and in CS2 that just doesn't work. But I'm positively surprised of how well being he is when it comes to playing the game.
Mm-hmm. Now, talking about Challenger, obviously, it's kind of a stepping stone for you guys for the RMR. Is that how you guys are treating this, just as kind of like a way to get s1mple into the system, to give him a little bit more time, especially on LAN? That's also a first for him in CS2 at this tournament, or are you kind of aiming high as well?
I think obviously it's kind of a mix of both, but I think the primary target here is to just get some matches under the belt for him. He's here to help us try and reach the RMR, and then we'll see afterwards. And for me, it's the way that we have been practicing has not been with the aim of being as good as possible for first Thunder pick and also for this tournament. We're not even we're practicing maps that we need in order for us to improve, and not specifically towards our next opponent. So in that regards, the RMR is by far the big target here.
Mm-hmm. You were kind of speaking as if kind of just getting to the major would be maybe, I don't want to say enough, but you spoke of it in some way as that being kind of the goal that would save your season. I think you said in something along those lines, right? So yeah, how are you treating the rest of the year with that in mind, and Shanghai Major in particular? Is there any hope that you could actually be pretty competitive by that time, or are you just kind of riding out the season and seeing how that's going to develop into next year?
I mean, of course, with the players that we have, Dupree, who attended all majors in CS:GO, and Matic, who was anchor of the year last year, and obviously Sasha, the goat of CS:GO. I think it would be naive to say that internally, of course, we would like to do well. But I also think that we need to be a bit more realistic, both in terms of how our year has been, but also not putting pressure on ourselves. I mean, it has been a rough year for all of us. And I think going in saying, yeah, but we want to hit playoffs at the major or quarterfinals, I think that's also first and foremost disrespectful to all the teams who are doing really well right now. But also kind of taking it lightly, because qualifying for the major is by far the biggest test to any team. Even when we were number one in Vitality last year, it was probably more scary for us to go to the RMR, especially in Paris, than the major itself. Because at the major you kind of reach that goal, and this is where you could just take one game at a time. But at the RMR you're just afraid of failing, afraid of not making it, afraid of having to watch the major from home. That is a tough feeling, one that I've also experienced last season. So for me, it's taking it one step at a time. But of course, if we do qualify, then let's pray for miracles, because then I hope that everything can happen. But for now, it's about going there.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were kind of talking about the rest of the year and obviously how the year has looked for you guys so far, and obviously there's also been, reports of moves already happening into 2025 for the team, with suggesting that Nico will join the team, but by the beginning of the year. With that in mind, with the results in mind, how is the morale inside the team? Around this uncertainty, around what's going to happen in the future. Are you trying to keep the spirits high still, or what is it like in terms of atmosphere inside the team at the moment?
Always, you have to. I mean, I don't care about how the future looks like. It's about the here and now, and it's about trying to perform or set these goals that we have always been doing, both in me and Lars, both in Astralis and Vitality, and now also here in Falcons. Obviously, we have a task given by Falcons, and we want to become the best team in the world. Sometimes that doesn't work out. We don't have a fairly young team. Let's be honest, and I think some of those players also know that some are here to be the first step of this vision by the team, and some will stay longer. It's, as I said before, it's been a rough year, and we have had a lot of talks. Try to change a lot. Try to change the way that we play, the way that we prepare the games. But I think to be completely honest, we have been lacking this superstar player for quite some time, and I think a lot of the players, they know that next year might be different. And I try to. I think that by being transparent and open about it with the players, kind of helps them move on, because they know that there won't be any suddenly surprises. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you very much, and good luck in the tournament.